So if you've been following along, I finished building my plane and was ready then to go fly it. So that's exactly what I attempted to do. So I took it out, and I think I did more crash testing than flying. Let me explain some of the things that happened. The first time I tried it, I gave it full throttle as I should, gave it a toss, but it simply went pretty much nose down and hard. I mean, it had gone out a little bit of a distance, but went straight down. So I had read, some people also on their first one simply didn't give it a big enough toss. So my next one, I gave it a bigger toss. It went more up, went further, but still nose down. And in flying it, I figured it would be best if I started with some flaps. So I had my flaps in an intermediate position. And I don't know if in the end that caused me problems, the pitching up, or just my ability. So I gave it another try, and again, went a little bit further, but nose down. I was trying to get on the controls fast, and I think I'm simply overreacting on the controls, and so it pitches up, and then I give it too much nose down, and then simply not enough altitude to recover. And I think, again, I tried one more time for a total of 4 times and had pretty much the same result. So let me sort of take you and show you my results in terms of damage, because the reason I stopped after the 4th attempt was that I had some damage that would not allow me to keep on flying. So I had pretty much straight into the ground impacts with the nose, so you can see that it held up pretty well. I would certainly have liked if I would have done it at all. But you can see the crinkling on here and some distortion of the nose, but it did survive. My electronics chassis, if you've been watching, I have my little locking tabs back in there. Those seem to hold pretty well considering how many times and how hard it was hitting. It did shift forward a little bit. The compression of the styrofoam allowed that to move, but it did not come out. Also, I switched from the regular hook and loop Velcro to more of a locking Velcro, because the other one was allowed too much movement, and this one locked in precisely, and even on those hard hits it didn't come loose. I was very happy with using that Velcro. Also, because the transmitter and stuff I was using, I ended up using this type of receiver, and so earlier you may not have seen this mounted on here. So one part of the receiver is up here on the front, the other part is inside the nose. Wings. Well, the wings survived. I don't have any real damage to the actual wing itself, but where I did have some problems is that either the screws that hold the wing in from the underside, I think that the force caused those to rip out. So my wings are able to move. Hopefully my reinforced carbon fiber rod that's in there is still intact, and I'm not going to have to replace that. So I've got some repairs to do on the wing. Also, I had one crash that landed upside down, but this isn't the result of just that one crash. But you'll see that my propeller ended up chewing up some of this. It's not because that it normally hits that, but in the course of the impact, it caused that part of the fuselage to flex enough that the propeller then hit there. So I've got some gouging back there. Again, not major. I would prefer no marks, but that's part of the price of learning. And then finally on my vertical stabilizer, it started separating, and I've got a crack through here as well, so I'm going to need to glue that up. So I need to make the necessary physical repairs to this. I'm also going to need to figure out what my next step is, and in flying it I tried initially starting it in the stabilized mode. I'm using the Mission flight planner, and in doing that I set it up on my transmitter for the stabilized mode. And like I said, the first 2 times where I tried that I didn't have any luck. I thought that it would have compensated pretty quickly for me, and I would have been able to have flown it. The other 2 times I switched it to the manual mode because I can get more travel on my elevator and other kinds of things, hoping that I could compensate for the pitch up. And again, I didn't have any luck. So I'm going to have to look in to see what possibly I can do differently, I think I might try simply leaving the flaps completely retracted in the up position. I think that'll help me prevent the pitching up. Also, I may try to adjust some of my trim controls on my elevator, maybe give it a little bit of nose down to help give me that little bit more level flight, at least to start with. So I'm gonna fix this up and I'm gonna give it another try, and I'll post a video when I get done. I'm sort of glad I didn't video my flying because, like I said, it was more crash testing. All right, thank you.